Okay, guys, I'm going to read your Econ test to you for price. If you hear a baby crying in the background, that's my new grandbaby. Alrighty, here we go. You're allowed to use any notes, any graphs that you have for this. Okay, so it's kind of open book, open note, but I'm still going to read it for you. Alrighty. When a consumer is able and willing to buy a good or service, he or she creates which of the following? Consumption, demand, or allocation. If the supply of a good is inelastic, producers will not change their quantity supplied by much if the market price doubles. A small increase in price will lead producers to sharply increase their quantity supplied, or producers have diminishing marginal returns of labor. What shows the quantities of products demanded at each price to all consumers in a market? A schedule of consumer prices, a market pricing list, or a market demand schedule. What does it mean when the demand for a product is inelastic? People will not buy any of the product when the price goes up. A price increase does not have a significant impact on buying habits, or there are few satisfactory substitutes for the product. Which of the following is a good that might not be bought when price rises? A complementary good, a substitute good, or a luxury good? A shift in the demand curve means which of the following? Hint, there is no supply curve involved. A change in demand at each and every price. A rise or increase in prices, or a decrease in both price and quantity demanded. The price of movie tickets in a town has risen from $7 to $9. What is the most likely effect of the change in price? The demand curve for the movie tickets will move right, the demand curve for movie tickets will move left, or the quantity demanded of movie tickets will decrease. Which of the following is an example of a good with an inelastic supply? Cars, apples, or hats? What factor has the greatest influence on elasticity and inelasticity of supply? Profit, time, or financing? How does a firm generally respond to a higher demand for its good? Hint, you may want to look at the graph sheet to give you a visual. So you can just look at there. E, F, G, and H are all quantity demand for E and F, and G and H are quantity supplied. So just notice those two, okay? Alrighty. It rations goods, it raises prices, it cuts prices, or there is no set response to this situation. Equilibrium is in a market means which of the following? The point at which quantity supplied and quantity demanded are the same. The point at which suppliers begin to reduce prices. The point at which prices fall below the cost of production. What is the basic principle of law and supply? The lower the price, the larger the quantity produced. The higher the price, the larger the quantity produced, or the higher the price, the smaller the quantity produced. What is the term for supply of a product that cannot be easily or quickly expanded in production? Profit, supply schedule, or inelastic? Why does a government place ceilings on some essential goods? To keep businesses from making large profits, to keep the goods from becoming too expensive, or to reduce demand for these goods. The law of demand says, the higher the price, the more consumers will buy. The lower the price, the less consumers will buy. Or the lower the price, the more consumers will buy. Which of the following describes the substitution effect? As the price of a good falls, people will substitute other products. Or as the price of a good rises, people will substitute other products. Or as demands fall, people will substitute other products. If one continues to purchase a product despite an increase in price, the demand for the product is strong, normal, or inelastic. Which of the following leads to an increase in supply? A decrease in the cost of raw materials, diminishing marginal returns, or a change in the law of supply? A shortage will develop when the quantity supplied of a good is greater than the quantity demanded of that good. The government provides The government provides subsidies to producers, or the market price is below the equilibrium price. Improvement in the technological process has reduced the cost of manufacturing cell phones. Hint, refer to your graph sheet to help you. Fewer cell phones will be sold at a higher price, more cell phones will be sold at a lower price, or fewer cell phones will be sold at a lower price. What effect does the availability of many good substitutes have on the elasticity of demand for a good? The demand is elastic, the demand is inelastic, or demand is not affected. What does new technology generally do to production? Look at your graph schedule. It lowers cost and increases supply. It increases cost and decreases supply. It has a very little effect on production. A subsidy is a tax on the production or sale of a good, a government payment to support a business or market, a form of government regulation. Disequilibrium occurs when quantity supplied and quantity demanded are not equal. Prices are higher than quantity supplied. There is neither excess supply nor excess demand. A market supply curve shows the quantity supplied by producers at different prices. Supply for any set of conditions. How prices affect the cost of raw materials. Okay, an ordinary demand curve slopes. Negative slope. So you have A, B, C, or D. Up and to the left, down and to the right, or up and to the right. Those are your examples that you're looking at. An ordinary demand curve slopes for a negative slope. Which one would it be? Up and to the left, down and to the right, or up and to the right? Demand can be affected by changing taste, changing income, size of the market, which would be the number of buyers, or all of the above. A supply curve shift indicates a change in the amount of goods and services that will be supplied with, hint, no demand curve is involved. A slight increase in price, a great increase in price, or no change in price. Which is not a factor or determinant that causes a shift in the supply curves? Technology, a change in input prices, a change in quantity supplied. Which of the following most likely will result in a decrease in the market price? Look at the graph sheet and go through each option to find your answer. An increase in supply with no change in demand, a decrease in supply with no change in demand, or the establishment of a price floor. So you should be able to use all of those graphs and charts to help you determine which one of those result in a decrease in the market price. According to the law of supply and demand, if production of a product doubled in a given year, which of the following would result? Look at your graph sheet, which are provided for you on your test. The demand for the product would decrease, the price for the product would decrease, or there would be no change in supply. Which is a sign of shortage? Queues are formed. The price is set above the equilibrium point. Both that our queues are formed and the price is set above the equilibrium point. What does price provide? Information, incentives, rationing effect, or all of the above? What are the 3 quick ways to help determine, not prove, elasticity of demand? Time, percentage of budget, number of available substitutes, or all of the above? What does all other things being equal mean for either supply or demand? That everyone has an equal chance to purchase the product. that when things are equal, the only type of change that can occur is a shift. That if everything is equal, the curve will not shift, and that only price will change. If the price of an item is $6 and the production of that product is at 75 cents, what does the cost and production of units have to be for it to be considered elastic in supply? Hint, conduct the 5% test. $6.30 and 79 units, $6.30 and 78 units, or $6.36 and 78 units. At $10.23 units demanded, when the price increases to $15 and 15 units are demanded, conduct the revenue test. The item is considered elastic, the item is considered unitary in elasticity, or the item is considered difficult to produce. How does a person's perception of whether a good is a necessity or a luxury affect their desire to purchase it? Different people will have different concepts of a necessity and luxury. People who have a lot of money will buy goods even if they think they are a luxury. A good that is perceived as a necessity will be purchased even if the price rises. When any effort by the government causes the supply of a good to increase, what happens to the supply curve for that good? It shifts to the right. It reverses direction, or the supply curve is not affected. The law of demand works when the consumer believes they have increased buying power. True or false? Price provides incentives for producers to produce what is demanded by society. True or false? An elastic demand curve illustrates properly the law of supply. True or false? When demand exceeds supply, it is called excess quantity supplied. True or false? Price indicates an agreement between the producer and consumer. True or false? Which schedule defines the law of supply? So schedule E, F, or G. So you're looking at the one that defines the law of supply. Notice that the different labels at the top of each of those graphs. As a consumer, show the change in price for Christmas tree lights in December. So looking at your three choices here, these are Christmas tree lights in December. A, B, or C. Oh, I'm sorry, A, B, or D. Which graph shows the correct change in price if competition would increase for the product one is trying to sell? So competition would increase for this product. Which one shows that happening? A, B, or D? Which graph shows the consumer's change in price for CDs if CD players went on sale? A, C, or D? Which schedule illustrates the laws of demand? E, G, or H? Noticing the labels at the top of each of those graphs. Which graph illustrates a change in price for an individual that has lost their job? B, C, or D? That is your final question. Alrighty, hope this was helpful. See you soon.